Murder Drones as a series is very popular among the indie animated space, garnering millions and millions of views across all of its episodes. Each episode brings something cool to the table, whether that be episode 1 or the pilot being a generally good pilot, episode 3 being a very well-known and well-appreciated episode and probably the most liked episode out of the entire community or out of the entire episodes, episode 5 being whatever you really want it to be, personally not my favorite, and episode 7 really bringing the horror back to the series. And the finale, or episode 8 of the entire series, is no exception. It was still a pretty good finale, even if it did have some major or minor problems. It was still very enjoyable to watch, at least for me. However, this is said to be the series finale, which means that there will be no season 2 in the future. Now, some people think that there will still be a season 2 no matter how many years it takes, or at least a spin-off show or spin-off episodes, which personally I don't really like the idea of, but I will talk about later in this video. There are plenty of other theories and predictions on where Glitch Productions and Liam Vickers most likely will go with the rest of the series, which I will cover in this video, along with give my thoughts on whether there will or will not be future Murder Drones content. Now first, let's talk about why people think there will be future Murder Drones content. I mean, after all, the trailer for episode 8 did say it was the series finale, along with the actual name of the finale being Absolute End, which would signify to most people that this is just the end of the series. Now, I think that a finale, especially a series finale, should tie up all loose ends and leave the viewer very satisfied on where the show ends. However, that is not what episode 8 of Murder Drones does. There are so many things that weren't covered in episode 8, which I can't really start to name considering of how many there were, but just for the video's sake, I will name just a few. One of them being that where are all the other Murder Drones? Where are all the copies or clones of the Murder Drones? Sin is technically still alive, as we got to see in the post-credit scene, along with this shadowy figure during the credits, which I did point out in one of my previous videos. So much in the series is just unsolved, and that leads many to believe that there will be future Murder Drones content. Now, whether there will be a season 2 or not, I am very skeptical on, considering it's a series finale, but I could see later down the road in maybe a couple or maybe 5 years or so, they could start Murder Drones season 2 if the hype is still around, or if other things are arisen, or certain circumstances are relevant or something. This would also depend on whether Liam Vickers, or the director and writer of Murder Drones, is actually down for making a season 2. After all, he still has an animation channel of his own, and he'll probably go back, at least I hope he goes back to the stuff he was trying to complete back then, such as Internetian Cube and other stuff. Weighing the two options of whether Murder Drones getting a season 2 or Liam Vickers starting up his old work, I mostly just think the latter is going to happen, considering the fact that Liam Vickers seemingly is just done with Murder Drones right now, at least as far as we know in the public, and I wouldn't be surprised if a trailer for one of his new show or story ideas were to show up in Glitch X, which I will talk about later in this video. So the chances of Murder Drones getting a direct season 2 is very unlikely, at least in my opinion, or at least in my interpretation of the data we were given. Now, there's also the idea I've been seeing float around the community that there will be spin-off episodes or at least shorts showing the characters after the whole events of the show happen. And yet again, this kind of just leads to what I previously said. It mostly just depends on whether Liam Vickers actually wants to do that or not. Now, another idea that I personally agree with and that it could actually happen is that Murder Drones would get some sort of comic or book or some sort of manga that shows events that happen after the show. After all, we did get a few jokes or little hints inside the actual episode or finale of Murder Drones that were hinting to some sort of manga, which could just be jokes, or you can overinterpret it and overthink it and think that there will actually be a manga in the future, which is what I'm personally doing. Cool thing about selling a book or some sort of manga is that you can't really be held back by YouTube's terms of service. After all, we definitely, at least I definitely know, that Liam Vickers would have made Murder Drones way more gory and way more violent if it wasn't for YouTube's community terms of service. And if you don't believe me and have the attention span of an actual genuine human being instead of a 3-year-old toddler, I would recommend watching, or listening more likely, to Black Dogs, which is on the SSCWL channel, or the Scary Story Times with Liam channel. It's way more gory, and it's probably one of his best works, at least in my and many others' opinions. So definitely go check that out if you really want to. Personally, I think that the manga idea is probably going to be the most realistic option of future Murder Drones content. However, the season 2 idea would probably happen like far down the future, maybe like 5 years from now, or if Liam Vickers actually does feel like making a season 2 2 of Murder-Drones, along with the money and budget actually still being there on the glitch production side of things. Whatever happens, however, I just hope that Murder-Drones does get future content instead of just being shown in advertisements or anything like that, considering the fact that there seems to be a lot more to this show than just what we got in one season, considering the fact that the main villain of the entire show is still alive. But I could just be wrong. Again, I'm just some random guy on the internet who makes videos about indie animation, so what do I know? Anyway, if you enjoyed the video and like to see more videos about this, consider subscribing because I will definitely be talking about different indie animated shows such as The Amazing Digital Circus, Lackadaisy when that eventually gets a season, and other indie animated shows that you want me to talk about. Like the video if you actually liked it, comment down below anything I missed, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.